The drama starts with the introduction of our male lead. His name is Knight, who is very handsome as well as a jewelry designer. This jewelry company was inherited by his father, along with he likes racing a lot as a hobby. His interview is going on, which was being watched by our female lead, whose name is Cham. In the interview, Knight was saying that, "I can tolerate everything but never tolerate lies and cheating." And our female lead, Cham, is not that kind of person. Actually, she is a con artist, and even today she is going on the same work. She used to do this work with her boyfriend. Today she had to sell a fake necklace to someone. Now her boyfriend is sitting outside waiting for her. When she goes inside and starts showing her acting skills, there was a man to whom she was going to sell the same fake necklace. She tells him that this is the design of famous designer Knight, and he is very impressed with her on this thing. To gain their trust, she also cries with tears and also emotionally blackmails them. But the interesting thing is that the uncle in front was very clever. He had called the Knight there as well, and she gets caught by them. Now she wanted to save herself and run away from there, but the Knight catches her. While going, her necklace fell down, holding the diamond, and it breaks. Of course, this was a fake diamond. Now she tries very hard to run away from there, but the uncle's security was after her. But she fights with them, and she tries very hard to run away from there. But in the end, she goes to the male washroom and gets trapped while hiding. And the interesting thing is that our hero is also there. The Knight was taking a shower there. When he comes out from there, she wanted to take advantage of the situation. But the Knight had already suspected her. She is caught by him there. And she starts acting in front of our hero, as she were very good at acting. "I am doing this because of compulsion. I don't like lying. Actually, my mother is in ICU. She is in pain. Please, if you have to hand me over to the police, give me your phone once so that I can say goodbye to her. If she dies, her soul will not get peace." Now our hero had believed her story. Then the security guards come outside. He deceives them and sends them away. Then he tells Cham to dress up and prepare to run away from here with him. After that, he makes her sit in the racing car with him. The poor girl had gone quiet. She had lost hope too. But Knight was so determined to go straight and stop the car at the place where the police were standing. Now, seeing this, she is shocked. She is very upset, just like a fish out of water. Then she cries a lot. She also says, "You are the worst. You gave me hope and then broke it. I only lie and commit fraud, but you." So she also took 2 hands forward, and while leaving, she tells him, "I will sit in jail and make you suffer every day. Whenever anything bad happens to you, understand that it will be because of my bad prayers." In the next scene, we are shown Knight's family life. His company was very big. It seemed that he must have lived a luxurious life, but there was a lot of tension in his life too. Actually, his stepmom and his stepbrother wanted to take over his company. They also had shares in the company, but only one uncle of his who always helped him, whose name is Joe, was on his side. Inside, Knight and his stepmother and stepbrother were enemies, but in front of the world they behaved as if there was no problem between them. Today, his stepmom presents a bouquet to Knight and also gives an award because the design made by him went into the best-selling category. Whereas on the other hand, poor Cham is caught and is lying in jail. Here her boyfriend comes and tells her, "You are very good that you did not take my name even in front of the police." He says, "Remember that house we both saw together? I am going to buy the same house, and when you come out of jail, after a year, then both of us will live in this house, and we'll also get married." Poor Cham was not bad at heart. When she was in jail, she wanted to change herself as soon as possible and wanted to get out of there and spend a peaceful life with her boyfriend. She had heard that here the better he behaves, the lesser his punishment will be. But living here, Cham is not a bad person. She used to get very angry with Knight. Often she used to curse him a lot, and this really works. Sometimes his car hits, sometimes a cup falls from his hand. Whenever all these small things happened with him, he thinks that someone in the jail has cursed him a lot. Then we see Knight's girlfriend, and seeing this, it seems that there was only one happiness in Knight's life, and that was his girlfriend Lily, whom he loved a lot and trusted a lot. Today he is telling her his painful story, that how his stepmom created a difference between his mom and dad, because of which his mom committed suicide, and later his grandfather also died. What happened was that I will never forgive them for killing my family. Then she says to him, "Don't worry, you will always find me with you." Knight wanted to take his relationship one step up. He is planning to propose to her. But Uncle Joe says that he should think before taking a decision. Uncle Joe tells him, "I have heard that Lily is not with you. She has a boy with her who often goes to her flat." Now Knight also got suspicious. One day, he gets the extra key of her flat and goes there to search. But there he saw that she had kept his and her photo very carefully. Knight thought, "I think I should have never suspected her," but his world is shaken when he sees that she is cheating on him and she is not with anyone else but with her own stepbrother Dong. Knight hides there and sees both of them getting intimate. Then he comes in front of them with a wine bottle and he angrily says, "How low will you both fall?" He shouted at them. And when he is going from there in anger, we come to know that Lily did all this because she thought that one day the company will be taken out of Knight's hands and will reach Dong's hands, and she wanted a stable life. That is why she chose Dong instead of Knight. Next we see Dong with his mom where he is very happy and tells his mother that Knight's face was going to be seen here, and he was feeling very happy by giving her pain. But at the same time, he also tells his mother that while pretending with Lily, I have fallen in true love with her. I know she also loves me and I want that we both get married. In this way, whenever Knight will see her, he will always keep yearning. On the other hand, the poor Knight had really become very sad and he had decided to leave from here. He goes to Europe for a year. On the other hand, we see Cham in jail, where she was behaving very well, and the jailer also noticed the change in her behavior, and it is decided that her sentence should be reduced by 2 months. While Knight goes to Europe, he does not leave jewelry designing, and his designs become so famous that he has won many awards there too. And his Uncle Joe presents this thing in front of all the shareholders. Seeing this, Mom gets angry, and she tells her son that one day we will have to get this boy out of the way in a straight way, otherwise he will become a big threat and he will not let us take over this company. And then she makes a plan to trap Knight. On the other hand, one day Knight saw in the news that there is a necklace of 120 carats in which 100 diamonds are studded. Yes, this was his mother's necklace. Now his stepmom has made it hers. She is also showing it on media. Now Knight wanted this necklace back from his stepmother's at any cost. For this, he decides that he will come back. Now, on one hand, Knight has reached Bangkok from Europe, while on the other hand, Cham had got leave from jail 2 months ago. To surprise her boyfriend, Cham reaches his dream house, which both of them liked. But when she goes inside, she comes to know that her boyfriend was cheating on her. He has even got married and now is living in this house with his wife. And not only this, his wife also insults Cham and beats her. But Cham was not angry with her, but with her ex-boyfriend. She beats him, and while leaving, she also gives a warning that what could not be mine will never be yours. While on the other hand, today Dong had a wedding ceremony with Lily, and stepmom makes her wear the same 100 diamond necklace and says to her that, I trust you to protect this, but actually she did not trust her daughter-in-law at all. All this was a pretense. She was going to take this necklace from her after the wedding ceremony. Now, in the meantime, Knight also reaches there, and as soon as he comes, he starts talking to Lily sweetly that, I missed you a lot. I wanted to congratulate you, and also wanted to see you in the wedding gown. Now, here on a pretext, he comes close to her and takes off her necklace and bangles. After that, he ties them and runs away from there. Now, when Dong comes to know about this, he was very scared. But stepmom had started this conspiracy. She says that this is what I wanted, that Knight comes here and does some wrong work. Only the police will catch him, and after that he will go to jail and also get rid of this company. But Uncle Joe, also hearing all this, immediately calls Knight and says to meet me from the back door. I will help you to escape because you are about to get trapped in a big mess. At this time, Cham, also after her heartbreak, is washing her face and hands in the washroom of the same hotel. As soon as she comes out, she collides with Knight. Now, due to their collision, the necklace falls far away. Here first, Cham beats him hard and says, You have ruined my life. But Knight did not have to give any answer. He just had to run away from there, but Cham does not let him do so. Then security guards also reach there, and the scene becomes such that both of them are caught, and they are handcuffed. Now, both of them have to do teamwork to save themselves, and together they beat up the security guards a lot. Now, Cham shouts a lot and says, Whatever you did to me a year ago, I will get you caught too. So he controls her with great difficulty, and then Uncle Joe's car comes. They tie his mouth and put her in the car. Somehow, because both of them had their hands tied, they could not separate. Now another car is chasing them. At first, she makes a lot of noise, but later when Uncle Joe says, "Whoever saves Knight from here, I will give him whatever he asks for." Hearing this, she immediately gets and says, "You just give me 2 lakhs. I will take him safely from here. 1 lakh is mine, and 1 lakh will be spent to save him." Knight did not like this idea, but Uncle Joe does not see any other option than this. They somehow dodge the cars from coming behind and then run away from there. When they search, Uncle Joe had distracted them, and both of them ran away from the back way. Then they see a van, and they were hiding in the dresses. The place was quite congested, and they were afraid of getting caught. They had come quite close to each other. Then they had to run away from there, but they also had to hide the handcuffs. Cham says that I will take off my jacket and hide the handcuffs. But her dress is so revealing that he refuses and says that, "You just let me hold your hand, leave everything to me." Now both of them were walking like this, just like lovers walk. Now, after some time, Uncle Joe sends them money, which had reached 1 lakh. Then Cham wanted to keep it herself, but Knight did not trust her at all. He says that I will keep the money with myself. Now, after this, they go to some old car showroom. From there, they buy one after paying the asking price because they had to go very far to hide in Cham's hometown. But here the men of the gang also reach there and start chasing them. But Knight manages to run away from there. Actually, he was a famous car racer. It was a skill due to which he was able to defeat them. But such dangerous adventures which she had never seen before, she was feeling that she would not be able to breathe. She started suffocating. Then here Knight helps her. He holds her hand and tells her to just look at me and count. He gives her water to drink and then also feeds her. Now he understood that this girl is with me and she has to save me. That is why he wanted both of us to understand each other well. Here she tells him that I was 7 years old when my mother died. Since then, I have not only faced difficulties. Not only this, I have been a con artist. The same boyfriend with whom I earned all this, he cheated me and left. And when she came to know that Knight also had an accident in childhood, due to which his parents are not with him, hearing this, she seems that his sad story is similar to her story. Then spending time together, here both of them, who used to hate each other earlier, now they both have become very close to each other. Now it was night, so they go to a place and stay. Here they had taken a room on rent. It was a small place, so that the Ani there does not get suspicious. Both of them start acting as lovers. Cham was acting as if she loves her boyfriend very much. Now both of them go to their room. They had asked the Ani to bring some things so that they break their handcuffs. Now they try different types of instruments so that somehow their handcuffs break, and while doing all this, Cham was very scared. She was very scared that she starts making strange voices, as everyone thinks that if there is a couple here who is enjoying their night together. But even after so much effort, their handcuffs were the same. Now both of them have to sleep very close on the same bed because of the handcuffs. Here Cham sleeps easily because she was also used to sleeping in jail, but Knight was having a lot of trouble doing while sleeping. He could not sleep the whole night. Next morning, when Cham opens her eyes, she says that, "Knight, please understand that I have to go to the washroom urgently." Knight gets very embarrassed on hearing this, but what to do now? Cham first of all puts a towel on his face and says that he should not look here and there. And after that, she starts her work. The sounds that were coming here embarrassed Cham very much. Now she also orders him to keep his hands on his ears, but before all this was over, there is a snake there, and as soon as it comes, it bites her. Now Knight gets very worried. He immediately brings Cham out and tells the Ani there. Meanwhile, some other people also gather there, and they make a video of this scene and make it viral. Then both of them had reached the hospital. Due to reaching on time, her life is now saved, but now she is resting. At there, whenever Knight got a chance, he used to contact his uncle and tell him everything. After some time, when Cham regained consciousness, the doctor told her that your boyfriend cares for you a lot. See, since then, neither has he got up nor eaten anything. Now Knight gets a call, and he came to know that the video of his and Cham has gone viral. On the other hand, Lily and Knight's brother also saw the same video and sent his goons to the same hotel where the video is recorded. Now, they quickly go out to the hotel, they take out their car, and try to escape from there, but at the same time the goons had reached there. Now Knight had to show his car racing skills here. He is very scared because they had two cars and they also had guns with them. They attack him. Knight's car also got damaged, which he had to leave in the forest. Now they are hiding to save their lives. Then Knight calls his Uncle Joe and tells him the whole situation, that the matter has gone beyond taking me to the police because those people have attacked me with guns. And in the meantime, his phone's battery dies. Now, both Cham and Knight were surrounded by those goons, but their teamwork was so good that they somehow managed to escape from there. Here some such scenes are played where Cham and Knight both were feeling very special. Now, they also got a gun. Through this, they wanted to break the handcuffs, but there is no bullet inside the gun. After that, they see a car passing from there, and they go behind it and become hidden and leave from there. Then Cham is very happy and says that, see how many times we have escaped from the jaws of death. It means that our fate is showing us that both of us can become very good partners together. Knight also really believed this, but he was ashamed to admit her. Here they decide that even if they get free from handcuffs, they will still support each other. On the other hand, Uncle Joe goes straight to his stepmom and starts talking to her. He says that, I have been quiet till now, I have seen everything, but I will not tolerate it. You people have kept goons and you do a lot of wrong things. I have evidence of all this. I have always been quiet because our company's reputation gets spoiled. But if I have to do something for the company, he says that I will do it tonight only because I love her parents a lot. While on the other side, Cham gives some money to the truck driver and persuades him by luring them that they have to leave in a village near the border. The same village was actually Cham's hometown. Now on the way to this village, Cham feels sleepy and she falls asleep in Knight's lap. On the way, Knight makes her lie down there lovingly. Then we see that when Uncle Joe was going somewhere, their car was trapped there, and then their car met with an accident due to a collision with the truck. Actually, all this was being done by the Knight's stepmom. Then we saw that Cham had reached her village, but she got down a little distance away and was hiding from the people. Seeing all this, Knight got angry at her and asked her to tell him the truth. He says that, why are you scared? What are you hiding? Then Cham has to tell him that actually these people of the village have become enemies of my life. Once I had robbed them, and then she tells the whole story to Knight. Actually, she had not given money to anyone to rob, rather she wanted to invest that money at a place, but her boyfriend cheated her. But the villagers were so angry at her because they knew her. Hearing this, Knight thinks that they used to get out of one problem and reach the next. He tells her to face everyone and admit herself. Even if the police arrest her, I will bail her out. But running away from the problem is not a solution. Meanwhile, a boy comes there whose name was Dai. Dai had seen both of them. He was actually Cham's friend. He tries to convince her and says that, I know you were not wrong, your boyfriend was wrong. So come and I will hide you in the village. I will not tell anyone anything. But actually, it was a trap. He tells everyone through the speaker that the Cham has been caught, everyone will reach there. Before Cham and Knight try to run away, the villagers trap them, and then they start beating her a lot. Then there is a girl there who is her childhood friend, tries to stop everyone, says that, at least listen to her, let her explain. Then Cham apologizes to everyone and says that, my intention was not wrong and I have been cheated earlier. I will arrange the money soon and return the money to all of you. But they again start to beat her. Now Knight could not tolerate this anymore, and he told them that Cham has been punished for her deeds. She had been in jail for a year, so have some mercy on her. If a person wants to be good, then you people should help him. On the other hand, stepmom came to Lily and told her that, I feel that even today there is love for Knight in your heart. Here he come to know that she had installed a deer camera in her room, and on the day of her wedding, through which she had the evidence that she had not resisted at all in front of Knight when he was getting close to her and snatched her necklace. She threatened her that if you do not agree to me and follow my instructions, then I will show this video to my son. On the other hand, with the help of their villagers, now finally they are free from handcuffs. Then Cham was wearing the local dress of that place, and she was looking very beautiful in it. Seeing her, Knight wanted to praise her, but then he became silent. She also gives clothes to Knight as well and says that you should also take a bath and freshen up. Then she is looking at the same handcuffs. She had become very fond of him. Then Night comes from upstairs and she immediately hides the handcuffs. Now she has started liking him from inside. After that, she comes to him and tells him that, "I have talked to die. Tomorrow he will take you away from this village, and you can hide wherever you want. Now you have to do your work further. I will stay here only." She also thanks him, saying that if you had not got me caught in the crime, I would not have been punished. Because of you now I am a good person. After that, Night starts playing a prank with her. There the mosquito net falls on them, and while escaping from it they get very close to each other. Now Night says goodnight to her, and they both go to sleep. On the other hand, Dong also came to know with which girl Night is with. Now he came to know that the name of the girl is Cham, and who is her boyfriend. And where is he? Then we see that Night is preparing to leave the village. He does not wake her up at that time because he does not want to disturb her. He just watches her and leaves from there. Cham also wakes up in agony. She was watching him go. She just says goodbye to him through her eyes. Now both of them did not know that 2 days ago they were complete strangers, and now they have become so close to each other. After that, Night goes to charge his phone, and he comes to know that his phone has been damaged during the fight. After that, he goes to a shop and puts his watch on mortgage, which was worth 2 million, and in return he receives only 1 lakh. Then he goes to buy a car and selects a car whose engine was like a racing car type. After that, he goes on his way. On the other hand, both Dong and Lily reach Panny's house, who is Cham's boyfriend. They ask Panny to tell them the exact location of her hometown. But Panny says that she has run away with a lot of money from the villagers, and she will not go there. Now, after that, Panny somehow sends them out. Now, Panny had suspected that Cham must have gone to her village. Actually, he was guilty that Cham had cheated him, so he immediately calls the village. He actually wanted to help Cham in some way by informing her. But in the meantime, his wife also comes and she sees this. Then both of them fight, and in the meantime, his wife, who is pregnant, falls down from the stairs. On the other hand, Cham tells the village people that she has hidden some money at a place. So they go there and start digging, but seeing that all the money was gone from their, Cham is also shocked, and the villagers also become angry at her. The villagers were after her. She is running away from there to save her life. Then suddenly someone comes from the front of her, and this man was a villain whose name was Pupa. He is even more bad than his name. He kidnaps Cham from here and takes her away. While Night was not willing to return, he had promised Cham to be his partner, so he comes back to his village to find out about her. Then he comes to know that Pupa has kidnapped her. On the other hand, while Pupa, who had made her unconscious, tries to do some bad things with her, she starts hurting him and tries to run away from there. But she is caught again. Then again, he starts doing something wrong with her. But before that, Night's racing car's sound is heard, and he reaches there. The rest of the villagers were also with him. Here, he has to stop Pupa. Then he also comes to know another thing, that Pupa is a loan shark, and he has given a huge loan to all the villagers. In return, he threatens them, saying that they will loot their houses. When Pupa sees Night's car, he challenges Night and says, "Should we both race? If you win, I will let you go. Otherwise, give me Cham and quietly go from there." Night also had full faith in his skills. He says, "You have kept a very small wish. No, let's make this bigger. If I win, not only will you give me Cham, but along with this, you should forgive the loan of all the people of this village." Then Pupa says, "You tell me, what do you have to give me if I win?" Here Night says, "I have a watch worth 20 lakhs. Just give 1 lakh to the shop and take it." He hands it over to him with the mortgage papers. Pupa did not find this deal big because he knew the whole area very well. He was sure that he would win. Now they hand over all the things to an Ani of the village whom both of them trusted. Then Cham comes to Night and tells him, "It is said that here in our village there is a very dangerous bend, and at this point Pupa has knocked down many of his opponents and killed them. He will try to do the same with you too. So when I go to the hill, I will give you the signal and you will be alert." After that, the race starts. Here poor Cham was also in the race. She had to reach the hill on time, and with great difficulty she reaches there and starts giving the signal to Night. When he was about to come to the turn now, here Pupa tries very hard to make him fall down from the ditch, but because of Cham, Night was already prepared. He goes back and with the help of a very easy shortcut reaches the finish point. After that, Pupa makes a lot of noise about cheating, but Knight does not listen to him. Knight says there was a camera installed in my car. It was clearly visible that you had attempted murder on me. Because of this, I will go to the court and make a case against you. Now, Pupa quietly leaves from there and says, I will definitely take revenge. Now, the whole village thanks Knight a lot. Here, Cham has also come and hugs Knight. Now, she is changing into a good person, and Knight also starts realizing that by helping others, he is understanding the new meaning of life. All the villagers were very happy, and they were celebrating because they did not have to be afraid of anyone. When Knight comes to Cham and gives her some money, he says, Uncle Joe had promised you that money. I have come to give you that money. But she returns all the money to him and says, You have done so much for me. You helped my villagers by risking your life. Nothing can be more than this for me. Here she notices one more thing, and that is that he has a precious necklace, which was a memento of his mother, which he loved more than his life. It was kept comfortably in the dashboard. She tells him, with the experience of being a con artist girl, I think you should not keep this thing here. And then she hides the precious necklace under a seat. Now Knight has to do some work in Bangkok, and the danger was very high, so he did not want to take Cham along with him. Then she asks for his number, and he gets a little shy and gives her his card smiling because he was also expecting the same thing. She was feeling very much like he would stop Knight, and Knight also wanted to stay, but there was no such relationship between them that they could make her an excuse. After that, Knight leaves from there, and Cham just keeps remembering him by looking at his memento. On the other hand, we see that Uncle Joe was still lying unconscious, and stepmom was also there. She comes and starts talking to him, saying, As long as you are unconscious, I will benefit. She says, taking advantage of this, I'm going to remove you from the company. She was going to falsely accuse him of corruption in front of the board, but Uncle Joe had regained consciousness at that time. He had heard all her planning. After that, at the time when she was in a meeting, the police reach outside because there is solid evidence of corruption, and due to this, the police have come to arrest them. All this was done by Uncle Joe. After that, we are shown Knight when he was going on his way. Then it is seen that some of Pupa's people were standing ready to take revenge from him. They block his way, and when Knight tries to run away from there, they fire on him. Pupa was very angry with this boy because he had ruined his reputation. Now Pupa had come to take revenge from him. He takes Knight in an injured state to the top of the mountain, and then they drop him in the ditch. After that, they had completely hidden Knight's car with leaves, but when some people were passing through the forest, they saw the car and recognized whose car it was. But Knight was not in the car, and neither was he able to see the car around. After that, we are shown that Knight did not fall down after falling from the mountain, but there was a tree on the way in which he got stuck. Now all the villagers call Cham there, and when she looks under the seat, she finds the same necklace there. Now she understood that Knight did not go from there himself. Otherwise, wherever he would have gone, he would have taken the necklace with him. Now they used to roam around in the jungle all night and also keep searching for Knight, but they did not get any clue. On the other side, we are shown that Knight was having dreams of his childhood. Once in his childhood, his father had gone bankrupt, so at that time his mother had come to rescue him. She had given all her property in his inheritance, and all that money was invested in his father's company. His mother's money was invested in the company and all his father's hard work. Once he had also taken a promise from his dad that after him, he would take care of this company very well, and today that promise was not letting him die. He had to take care of his father's company. Now he got up and was very scared. He was wandering in the jungle and could not see anyone. After that, there came a point when he felt that his mother and father had come to take him from there. He started going with them, but at that time Cham comes there. Knight fainted again, but Cham was so scared that she says, I would definitely save him. I will save you. After a lot of difficulties, somehow they reached the hospital. The doctor says that he had bled a lot, but his life was back. At this time, we see the scene of Bangkok, where the doctor tells Pani that his wife has died, but her baby is alive, but he is immature and he needs a heart surgery for which he needs a lot of money. Now to save his child, he calls Lily and tells her the exact location of which village Cham belongs to and where she has gone right now. On the other hand, Cham takes very good care of him. Her friends get very suspicious that the way you are taking care of him, it doesn't seem like a normal relationship. The amount of worry you have for him in your eyes is clear that you like him. But she says that it is impossible for both of us to be together. He is from a rich family, and he is the head of a very big company. And I am an ordinary girl who was earlier a con artist. While the knight regains consciousness, the nurse tells him that the girl who brought you back to life took care of you all night. And she brought you on time. Otherwise, you might have bled a lot. After that, Cham also arrives there, and seeing Knight in consciousness, she becomes very emotional. Knight thanks her and says that you have saved my life in every way. I will repay all your favors. He also admits that his mother's necklace is safe today only because of Cham. Otherwise, Pupa's people would have taken it. On the other hand, Dawn's men get to know the location of Cham's village. They had reached this village and were asking people about Cham. But Cham's friends deceive them and send them to a different location. However, they also had come to know that Knight is not safe here. Then we see Knight at the hospital, and he takes a phone from a nurse and is trying to call Uncle Joe. After that, Uncle Joe calls him back, and he comes to know that Knight is injured at this time and has gotten into this mess after fighting with some evil guys in the village. He tells him that I too had an accident and I am in the hospital, but don't worry about me. I will send my driver to you right now. He will bring you back. After that, when he was telling the driver of Knight's location, in the meantime, Lily also came from behind, and she hears all things. As her goons had already reached the village, so they will reach him in the hospital soon. After that, those goons reached the hospital, and they had also reached Knight's room. Here they were searching for Knight, but Knight hides somewhere before. On top of that, Cham also came to meet Knight. She gets scared after seeing these goons and runs away from there. The goons also run after her. When she ran away, someone takes her inside at one place, and he was none other than Knight. He was already hiding there. Here they hide a little and are scared, but Cham says that this place is not safe. Now we will have to move to another place. After that, they come out somehow and sit in a car and ask for a lift from someone. They thought that maybe they are safe, but that car also belonged to some gun-wielding people. Instead of dropping them near the village, they kidnap them and take them to a place of their choice. Then we came to know that he was Pupa's grandfather and his goons. Actually, he wanted to catch Cham because she had also done a scan with him, while Knight had ruined all his son's honor in front of the villagers. That's why they were very angry with Knight, and they wanted to take revenge. As soon as they attacked Knight, Cham immediately came and said that it is my fight with you. So if you want to kill me, then kill me, but don't even touch this boy. This was the first moment when Knight felt that he had fallen in love with Cham. In the meantime, their friends also reached there to help them, and they managed to escape from there by filtering out their guns. Now, after that, Cham had decided that they would go to a place in the forest, which was her mother's house, and stay there. Now, after that, Cham and Knight were going towards the forest. Here she was very worried about Knight because he was bleeding. Now, before evening, they reached that place. Cham says that nobody knows about the place except my friend Panny. Panny and I used to come here and hide to save ourselves from the police. Then she tells Knight that as her mother and father died in her childhood after that, if she had any relation, then it was Panny. That is why she trusted him blindly. She used to do whatever he wanted, and this made her a thief. She did not know the difference between right and wrong. After saying this, she thanks Knight, saying that because of him she is becoming a good person. After that, Cham goes inside and starts cleaning the house because the house was very dirty. While Knight is sitting outside, he was trying to dress himself by taking off his shirt. Here, when she sees a shirtless Knight, she gets very shy, and this thing was also noticed by Knight. He enjoys the scene a lot. Now she sets the house clean. After doing this, she had also set the bed. When Knight comes inside, she is about to fall after hitting him, but Knight catches her carefully. Here Knight was expressing his feelings, but she did not want to see all this because she felt that both of them were not a match. Now here she has arranged some food for Knight, and in the meantime some sweet moments of theirs come, and it is known that Knight is not at all shy of expressing his love. Here Knight expresses his love to Cham, but Cham tells him that she is going out for water, and she goes out. Knight also follows her. After that, she falls in the water, then Knight also follows her in the water. Then both of them have a lot of fun together. Here a moment comes when Night closes her eyes and kisses her, but Cham was not ready for everything at all. On the other hand, Uncle Joe was about to be discharged. Here Lily tries very hard to get him to say something to her about Night, but Uncle Joe was very clever and before she could get any information out of him, he trapped her in his plan. He said that the diamond necklace, whose name was Love Diamond, was not being given to her by her stepmother. Rather, she had searched for many clients and, after taking all the money, had to give the same necklace to someone else. He says, if you can't believe me, then you can confirm it if you want. After that, when he goes to another place, he calls Night's stepmother and says that her daughter-in-law was not with her. This thing is very dangerous, he says. One day you will see that she will take your son and leave you. On the other hand, we see Night and Cham. Here we saw that whatever food she had cooked for Night, she is bringing that food to him and she is feeding it to him.
Here she talks to him a lot.
She makes him understand that life is short and there is no time for hatred. If you love your father's company, she says, then she must also love the company. That's why she is taking care of this company. So, I want you to bury the old hatred now and move forward in life, she says. Try to talk to her, talk openly. How long will you both keep taking revenge from each other and life will pass in hatred like this? Night hears this, but he was not conscious because he had a very high fever. Then he faints and the whole night Cham takes care of him. Now 1 or 2 days pass like this. The Night had become quite brave now, but one night he had a bad dream that Cham has been shot. He gets very scared and Cham comes to him. He hugs her and says, I love you very much. I cannot tolerate even in my dreams that you get hurt. Then he asks, what's your feelings for me? She says, I also love you, but both of us are impossible. I am a thief who has just come to serve his sentence and who has no family, and you are from such a big family. You are the owner of such a big company. On which Night tells her, if I want to get a perfect doll-like wife for myself, then it is not difficult for me. But in such a difficult time, when there is no one else with me, then you are there. There is no one more loyal than this. This is the partner I need. That is why I want to make you my life partner, he says. After saying this, he kisses her, and then they both have a lovely night together. While on the other side, the spark of Uncle Joe has turned into a bag. Stepmom and Lily are fighting a lot for the dong, and only time will tell who will win this battle. On the other hand, it is seen that the men of Dong have reached Pupa, and they come to know that if they want to find out where Cham and Night are, then they had to go to her best friend.
She knows something about them.
After that, they go and kidnap her friend. Then they go to that house through Cham's friend. They say to her friend that she can take out Cham and Night out of the house and should not have even a little doubt that we are waiting for them outside. Now, when she goes ahead, she sees Cham. Seeing her, she was crying and is giving him hints through some expressions. Cham understands that something is wrong as she was very intelligent. She says to her with an excuse, okay, I am going inside, and I have brought Night out as well. Then we will go somewhere. But after going inside, she tells Night that it is clear that someone has blackmailed her and brought her here. Now they secretly watch and see Dong's goons outside. Here Cham tells Night that, look, they are after you, not me. That is why I will deceive them and take them to one side. Meanwhile, you drive away from here and go to some safe place. Night was not agreeing, but Cham is so adamant that he had to agree. Now Cham and her friend take both the goons to one side to deceive them. They were going towards the jungle and those goons were chasing them. Once they shoot and that bullet directly hits her friend. While on the other side, Night sits in the car and runs away from there. On hearing the sound of the car, one goon chases Night sitting in the car. But Night dodges him and hits him with a stick and makes him unconscious. But Night was such a kid that the one who came to take his life, he starts checking that I did not take the life of this poor person. After that, his phone rings and Night picks up the call. It's from Dong. The Night tells him, look, I don't want any fight with you. That's why I am coming to Bangkok and I want to talk to you and my stepmom. After that, we are shown the scene of Bangkok. There Lily became quite rebellious. She refused to come under the blackmailing of her stepmom. Once she tried to blackmail her, then she clearly says, whatever video you have of mine here, instead of showing it tomorrow, show it to your son today itself, but don't blackmail me. After saying this, she leaves. Now on hearing this, Dong becomes adamant that he wants to see that video. Then his mother shows him the video. Then he comes to know that that day when Lily was being made his Wi-Fi, she kissed Night. Seeing this, he gets very angry and cries a lot. Whereas on the other side, Cham and her friend were caught by Pupa. Here Pupa was very angry with Knight because the previous day when he had a fight with his father, one of his father's legs got disabled due to beating by Knight. Now he kidnaps Cham from there and tells her friend, "If you get Knight, then tell him that he will come and take this girl from me and go away." Now after some time, Knight also reaches there, and as he has come to know about this, he follows Pupa's car. Here Knight's car is about to have an accident. He was standing on the edge and was about to fall in the ditch, but Pupa was so bad that he hits his car and makes it fall in the ditch. Now his revenge was complete and he goes away from there, leaving Cham there. Now the poor girl is sitting there and crying a lot. Meanwhile, Dong's men also reach there and he also gets to know about this. He becomes very happy and tells Dong that all your tension is over because Knight has had such a big accident at this time. If he returns alive, he will definitely be paralyzed. After that, he was taken to the hospital. His condition was not safe at all. After that, the nurse comes out and gives the same diamond necklace taken out from Knight's pocket to Cham. On the other hand, Lily also comes to know that Knight has met with a big accident. She gets very upset because she had married Dong only for money and power, but in her heart she had no desire for it. While Knight and Cham's friend are in the same hospital, her condition had improved a little and she came to meet Cham. The poor girl was very upset that Knight had to suffer so much because of her. Now after some time, Uncle Joe also reaches there. And first of all, she gives him the diamond necklace. Uncle Joe thanks her and says that she has helped Knight not once or twice, but many times, and for this you are entitled to an award. In return, he gives her a check which she did not want to take, but he forcibly gives it to her. Now Uncle Joe had taken Knight to Bangkok for treatment where he undergoes an operation. But the doctor says that he is still in an unconscious state. Now Knight was in ICU. Once Uncle Joe steals a look and he comes to know that Cham does not have a normal relationship with Knight. She was kissing him on her forehead, which he realizes that these two are lovers. After Cham leaves, once Lily had also come to see Knight, and she was very upset. Uncle Joe says to her, "It is your choice over Knight, and you will have to do it." She says, "Yes, I take every responsibility, and anyway, I am not worthy of Knight." After that, we come to know that there is a little working relationship between Uncle Joe and Lily, and if they have to form a team on any occasion, they can do it. After that, he tells his assistant, "I don't trust this girl at all, but if I ever have to use her, then I will definitely do it." On the other hand, Cham sees a lucky stone at a place while shopping. She thinks that she will buy the lucky stone for her boyfriend, and at the same time, she also comes to know that if a wish is made with this lucky stone on full moon, then every wish gets fulfilled. After that, we see that the condition of Knight is getting worse while Cham was making a wish for him by getting the lucky stone. After that, the condition of Knight gets normal. On the other hand, when Lily goes back home, Dong is waiting for her. He fights with her, and they both get very angry with each other. Lily tells him a lot that, "Why don't you give me divorce instead of fighting?" But then Dong says, "I will not even give you a single penny. You are doing this to get some alimony." Next day, Cham goes to the hospital, and she had made a bracelet of lucky stone with a lot of love for Knight, which she made Knight wear there. Now everything was going well. They were just waiting for Knight to come to his senses. But in the meantime, a big mess happened. This happens when a reporter goes to the same border village where he was asking what is the relationship between Cham and Knight. The villagers were simple and straightforward. They gave this interview to the reporter that actually Knight and Cham are boyfriend and girlfriend. Knight has taken such a big risk, and the loans of the entire village are also cancelled. Now this issue brings a big problem. The board meeting is going on, and everyone was saying that the Cham, who is Knight's girlfriend, has a very bad reputation. She used to make fake jewelry, and because of that, the company's credibility is also getting affected. The poor girl had become so upset that everyone knew her and looked at her with a thief's eyes. Even she had left that profession, but people were not letting her live. So once Uncle Joe called her to the company, and there was a purpose of calling her there. Actually, he wanted to show how glorious the company is, and whose coming chair is now Knight will become the chairman. Uncle Joe tries to understand her that this company does not run only on its quality, but also its credibility, and that creativity is now going to be lost because of her. He asks, "Do you want Knight to suffer? If you do not want to do so, then you hold a press conference with me tomorrow and tell everyone that you are not in a relationship with Knight." Uncle Joe says that when the matter is settled, then you both can live together. While on the other hand, Dong gets very angry when he comes to know that Uncle Joe has handled the whole situation. Now he starts making his plans. Then in the next day, first of all, she has come to the hospital to meet Knight because she did not know how many days later she will see him. Now both of them had to hide their relationship from the media. As soon as Cham comes out of the hospital after seeing Knight, we are shown that Knight has regained consciousness. After that, she goes with Uncle Joe in a press conference, and here the reporters ask her a lot of questions about her and Knight's relationship. But she says that there is no relationship between me and Knight. He is a very kind person, and due to his kindness, he helped me for humanity. But there were some reporters here who were sent by Dong. They start asking her strange questions and also say on record that even after all these issues are cleared, there will be no relationship between you two. Now to save Knight, she does this also, but at the meantime, stepmom takes the whole game in her hands. She comes and says that this girl is a liar. And at the meantime, they had played a video of Knight in the hospital in which he was trapped in such a way that he was calling Cham again and was saying that I love her very much. Now their plan goes wrong, so Uncle Joe takes Cham from there. Many reporters were also following her, which makes her very angry, and she starts saying that I am very beautiful, and I want to tell you one thing, that Knight is very kind-hearted. She says he was feeling pity for me because after getting me caught by the police, he had ruined my future, so due to this he has probably fallen in love with me, but this is one-sided love. I have no interest in him, rather I hate him because he sent me to jail. Here we come to know that all of this is also seen by Knight, who is in the hospital. Seeing all this, Knight gets very sad, and he calls her again and again, but no one was picking up his call. On the other hand, they are sitting back in the car, and Uncle Joe gets very angry at her and says, "Why are you saying he's a one-sided lover? Why are you showing him as a silly boy in the eyes of the world? How can he become the president of such a big company who is so stupid?" Then he also tells her that Dong will not leave you both. He will send his spy after you both. That is why I want that you both never meet each other, and now you are gone from the nightlife forever. Hearing this, Cham is very sad because she had only done this because it was only for the short term. At the meantime, she gets a call and she comes to know that the condition of her friend is very bad. Infection is spreading in her body. There is a virus which, if not treated on time, can even paralyze her. Now Uncle Joe takes advantage of such a situation and gives her a very heavy compensation. He says, "I will also get your friend treated, and in return you will never come into the nightlife." But she refuses. Then Uncle Joe says, "Look, in return of your sacrifice, he will become the president of the company which her mom and dad had built with so much hard work, and at the same time your friend will also get a new life. Well, if you go against everyone and enter the life of the Knight, then you will become even more heartbroken when you see Knight getting ruined." Now he gives her $5 million and says that she should start her life, and also says sorry to her that he will have to say a lot of things about her in front of the Knight, which is not true. After that, Uncle Joe goes directly to the Knight and says, "Cham had asked me for $5 million to remove her from your life, and now she has taken it and gone forever." But Knight was not believing him at all, so Uncle Joe has all the recordings inside the driving cam, and then he listens to it in which she was asking him for $5 million, and along with this she was also saying that, "I have been cheated in love once, and after that I had decided to never fall in love." She was saying that, "I was only pretending to love the Knight because I wanted to live a better life." After that, when Uncle Joe is about to leave, Lily stops him and says, "I know that you are doing all this Knight with planning, but I will not tell him at all because I am in your team, right?" After that, Knight was just looking at his bracelet, which the nurse told him that Cham had given him. Now Cham had received orders to remove her from Knight's life, so she has come to the hospital to see him one last time. She had completely disguised herself so that no one could recognize her. She sees Knight sleeping there with tears in her eyes and keeps blaming herself in her heart. "I wish that I was not a scammer girl. I wish that I was not a professional liar. Then today this society would have let me stand with you." After that, she bids him goodbye forever and leaves from there, leaving his memories in her heart. After that, Cham first went to Frontier Hospital to meet her friend for whom she was bearing the expenses of her treatment. On the other hand, Uncle Joe finds out who had sent the goons to kill Knight, and along with this he has caught the goons who were given the task by stepmom to murder Knight. Now they have gone to the police and proved their crime. Along with this, we come to know that Lily is now on Uncle Joe's side. She says, "Whatever I had heard from your mouth, I will go and tell that to the police." Now Uncle Joe gives a choice to stepmom and says, "When all this comes to the media and the police take you away, then after that there will be no reputation of our company because you also have shares in this company." So he says, "I will do one thing. You resign from the chairperson's seat or else I will call the police." And then he tells her that the police are going to reach. Now here stepmom felt that the game has gone out of her hands. So she says, "Okay, I will do everything you say," but she also says, "Don't think that I am not a shareholder and have the power to turn the tables at any time." Now in the hospital, Knight also sees in the news that stepmom is resigning from her seat. On the other hand, we see the scene of Frontier Hospital where the police are arresting Pupa's father from there and taking him away in a case of smuggling. When Cham looks back, Pupa was also standing there hiding from the police. Now she gets an idea and with an excuse tells him, "Where are you going to stay tonight?" Now at night, Pupa reaches her house, but Cham was ready from the front. She had also prepared her friends, and here they caught him and arrested him to the police. Now she had completed the revenge for Knight. So now the day has come for her to start a new life. On the other hand, we see Knight, whose right hand was paralyzed, and now he was taking physical training so that he could improve it in some way. Now she neither had to live in Bangkok nor in her border village, so she shifted to a faraway Ireland where she took a small place to live, and along with it a shop also opened where she would make handmade bracelets and jewelry. On the other hand, we saw that a lot of time had passed and slowly Knight's right hand also started to work, and first of all he had written Cham's name. Now on one hand, Cham had started her new life while Knight had not yet moved on. Knight would repeatedly ask Uncle Joe, "Where is she? I want to meet her," but Uncle Joe would always give some excuse saying, "I could not reach her." On the other hand, Lily had decided to leave Dong and she gives him divorce papers to sign, but he tears them and throws them away. Now Lily had left the house, so after that Dong goes to her room and cries a lot. On the other hand, Cham had set up a small shop, but her business did not work out much and she also changed her identity. She changed her name from Cham to Lin. Now one day she is talking to her friend Dai. Suddenly we see that Knight comes there, who has now become completely fine, and first of all he comes to Cham's village to search for Cham. But Dai controls the situation very well and says to Knight that Cham has been missing since she disappeared. Dai says she did not even return here and no one knows her whereabouts. Here Knight had a little doubt and he leaves from there. After that, Dai calls Cham and tells her everything. Now she also gets very sad to hear this. Then she goes home and starts looking at the handcuffs which she had kept safely. This was the sign of her and Knight's love, but now it was the society's handcuffs that had separated them. After that, we see that now Dong somehow convinces Lily and brings her to him and makes her realize that he cannot live without her, and then they both patch up. After that, we see Knight, who is working on jewelry designing again these days, and here he made a new design. The inspiration for the design was not from anyone else, but from Cham, and it was on a puzzle piece on which he had written, "Miss you." He had made this design with a lot of love, keeping Cham and himself in mind. After that, he presents this design in front of everyone in the board meeting for approval. Here many people liked the design and appreciated it, but stepmom rejects it. Here Dong also tells him that it is clear that this is a sign of love between you and that fake girl. Then he starts saying many bad things to Cham. Here Knight can listen to anything against him, but not against Cham. So he starts fighting with Dong. Then he deliberately makes Dong more angry and Knight repeatedly raises his hand on him. Here Dong actually wanted to show the board members that Knight is in no way capable of becoming the president of the company. He does not have the slightest patience. Actually, this was the planning of stepmom and Dong so that they can spoil his image in front of the board members. After that, Knight tells Uncle Joe, "I have no interest in this position. You can become the president in my place." But Uncle Joe said, "This position was of your father, and now this is your position, and no one other can rightfully take it from you." On the other hand, a new character enters our story, a boy named Park. Park is a very big celebrity, and he has reached Ireland these days to spend his vacation. Coincidentally, Cham has also opened a small jewelry shop in the same Ireland. While shopping, Park comes to her jewelry shop. Here Park liked her handmade bracelet very much, so he buys 7 bracelets because he has bought them to distribute among his fans. Well, when he leaves from there, now Cham realizes that she has not given him his return balance, and she also starts following him. Meanwhile, we see that Park has jumped into the water to save a person from drowning, but an accident happens to him there. A boat hits his head, due to which he gets dizzy and falls into the water. Now here, without thinking anything, Cham jumps into the water and saves his life. After that, Cham leaves from there. On the other hand, one day Knight saw a girl at a place and he thinks that she is Cham. So he starts running after her like a mad person, but she was not Cham, but someone else. Whereas the next day, Park had come to Cham's shop because he started liking her from yesterday's incident. Here he used to tell her that, "I like your designs a lot," but actually he just wanted to spend time with her so he could know her more. He used to tell her that, "To increase your business, I will upload a video of yours," but she did not want any publicity. She wanted to avoid the camera, so she refuses. But he gives her another solution and says, "Okay, you just show me your designs, I will upload them, and after that whatever orders will come will be yours." Now, because of Park, Cham's work was going very well, and she started thinking that she also has the right to live a simple life. New Cham's designs were going very trendy on Park's social media. It was cheap jewelry which many people could afford. Now Lily also saw this video and got an idea after seeing it. After that, Uncle Joe and Lily decided that they would go to Knight and say that the company was not doing well these days, so they wanted to create a subdivision in their company. In this subdivision, there would be a platform of jewelry for middle-class people instead of diamond jewelry. And for this, they would collaborate with Park because it was trending these days. After that, Knight goes to the meeting with Park, but when he sees that the designer is not present, so he leaves the meeting. After that, when he sees the designs online, he suspects a photo in which Cham is sitting with him in the background, but the photo was blurred. Now Knight can't tolerate this and immediately runs behind Park to his shooting point. And he goes to Park and shows him Cham's photo and asks, "Is this your designer girl? Her name is Jam, right?" But as soon as he saw the photo, he knew it. He thought that something was wrong, but he doesn't show his expressions and says, "No, it's not that girl." But after that, he checks on social media, and in old news, he gets to know the whole truth, whatever Knight did, and also Cham. On the other hand, Knight was not satisfied with Park's words, so he searches again and again on social media, and he finds a design which was exactly like the bracelet made by her. Now his belief changes, and the next day he is waiting for her outside the shooting and decides to follow Park. Well, Park went to meet Cham today, so he had to clear all these things with her. Now he reaches another state, and Knight was also following him. Now he reaches Ireland with a boat. Knight had also reached there behind him. Now Knight finally came very close to Cham. Now we see that Park reaches Cham's shop, and he also brought her favorite food. He told her, "I have come to know your reality. Your name is Cham." He says to her, "I can understand that you have deliberately left Knight just to save him. Whatever you said in the press conference, was it all true?" He asks, "Tell me, will you still love him?" On which tears come in her eyes. She says, "All this is true. I love him and I could not see him getting destroyed. That is why I left him." After that, to discuss the details of their next orders, both of them go home. On the other hand, Knight is searching for Cham's shop at various places in Ireland. He asks many people there, but they did not know her. Meanwhile, showing his bracelet, he asks if there is any such shop here. Then he comes to know a person who knows about this bracelet and its maker. Knight reaches him and gives him a lot of money and says, "Take me to the shop." But when they reached the shop was closed. The auntie from the shop next door confirmed to him that this is the girl in the photo who runs this shop. But she did not know where she lives, but she tells him that there is a community area nearby. She must be living there. Now that community was quite big. Here Knight asks around, but no one knew about her. Meanwhile, he thinks that Cham had a favorite food and she could not eat without condensed milk. He thinks, "I should go to the superstore and wait for her or ask about her." After that, he goes to a superstore and asks about Cham, but the boy at the store had come there today on his first day and he had not seen Cham there. Now he roams around everywhere in this community in search of his moon Cham, but he was not able to find her anywhere. On the other hand, Mr. Park was told that the time has come for you to expand your company. Now you should do designing and get work done from others because I have brought a very big opportunity for you. He tells her that Paradise Jewelry Company has approached him and now their board of directors has also approved that they should form a division. But as soon as Cham hears this, she says, I do not accept it at all. I do not want to go back to the nightlife again. Park says, there is an opportunity for you. How long will you work at a small store? Even you deserve a better life. You should think about your future. Well, after that, she gets freshened up and both of them are having dinner together. Here she sees that her favorite food, which is condensed milk, is finished. Then she is going to the store to buy a new one. But as soon as she picks up the product and turns there, she sees that Knight was standing there. He told her, I know you have deliberately kept me away so that my company does not suffer any loss. So we don't have to face any problem because of your background. But once she was completely shocked after seeing him, then she pushes him and runs away from there. Knight also follows her and says, you are not going to run away from me. So you have to tell me the truth. She tells him another lie and says, I don't know if you will regain consciousness after the accident or not. And even if you do, then what will be my future? That's why I did this, to get a better future. That's why I took money from Uncle Joe and started my new life. Knight was very shocked to hear this, but he says to Cham, what do you think? I don't know you. He says, of course our relationship was not so long, but it seems as if I have known you since birth. You are not that kind of girl. Then he kisses her and tries to prove that somehow she can believe that she still loves him. When she starts to leave, Knight stops her. Just then Park also comes there and hits Knight, saying, she is my girlfriend, don't try to come close to her. And with this, she also gets an idea and starts saying that yes, he is my boyfriend. After leaving you, me and Park are in a relationship. Now I am very happy with my new boyfriend. After saying this, they both leave from there and Knight is standing there with a broken heart. After that, Cham cries a lot and Park consoles her. He had guessed that Cham loves him a lot. In the next day, Park shares the same story with his manager and says, I want Cham to go to Knight's company and work there, so that it becomes clear to me that if she will be able to forget Knight, then she should forget him and she should come to me. And if she cannot forget Knight, then both of them should become one and I am going out of their way. Now Paradise Jewelry was in crisis nowadays. People were not liking Knight's new ideas much, and because of this, their investors were leaving. Mr. Joe requested Park, please make your designer agree and start working with us. We need you people. Then Park goes to Cham and says the same thing to Cham. And Cham also left Knight's life for this reason, that she wanted to help him in his company, and now she is ready to come back into his life because she had to save his company from sinking and give him a new life. On the other hand, when Knight comes to know that Park's designer, Cham, is ready to work with him, he is very happy. But Uncle Joe was not able to understand the reason for his happiness because he does not know the truth that Park's designer is none other than Cham. On the other hand, we also see that Lily has a small fight with Uncle Joe and she says, I want to come back into Knight's life. Why are you trying to introduce other girls into his life? She says, if you try to bring any other girl into his life, then I will tell everyone that you have been thrown out of Cham. Now on hearing this, Uncle Joe gets angry. Here a new version of Uncle Joe comes in front of her, and she was surprised that how can Uncle Joe be so violent. He just warns her, I will not leave the one who brought enmity between me and Knight. On the other hand, Knight's happiness was to be seen today, and all the servants of his house also smile at this. Knight was again seen smiling from the heart. Now his wait was about to end, and the next day he had a meeting with Cham. He was very happy thinking that she was coming to work in his company. Now Cham has come back to Bangkok with Park, who brings her to his own house and gives her a room to live. His house was traditional but very beautiful. He tells her that this house has been set up by my mom and dad together, and I like to live here. Here he again asks her, and then she says, I and Knight are impossible. I have also said this before. A girl like me would never fit with a perfect person like Knight. After that, at the office, Knight was very happy and excited, and Uncle Joe was surprised seeing him very excited. Now he was waiting for the new designer, and there was another reason for his happiness. Actually, he had sent an informer to the border village, and from there he came to know that Cham had actually accepted the money from Uncle Joe because her friend needed treatment, so she had to spend money on her. Now he gets very happy thinking, it means that she still loves me, she is just lying. After that, the moment comes when all the people are sitting in the meeting and Cham enters there. Seeing which many people got suspicious, but the board of directors themselves had already assigned and accepted it. So no one could object that they will have to work with them. After the meeting, Uncle Joe takes her to a side and she tells him, "Earlier, also I had gone out of Knight's life to help him, and now I have come into his life to help him. I will take care of his company, and after that I will leave this company." While leaving, she also returns the $5 million to Uncle Joe. On the other hand, we see Knight, who had said that this girl will come here for a 3-month project to do designing. But Park wanted the project to be only 1 month. However, Knight says so much time will be wasted in collaborating and understanding each other. Actually, he wanted to spend as much time with her as possible. After that, when they leave from there, Knight sees them, and they are very close to each other, and Park is even holding her hand. Actually, Cham was doing this intentionally. Here, Uncle Joe also says it seems as if Park is her new boyfriend. After that, Lily becomes so jealous after seeing Cham again. She says to Uncle Joe, "How can she come back?" But Uncle Joe also says he was jealous of her, and he said that he loved you too once, and you could not win her back, nor could you win her heart. Actually, Uncle Joe said those things because he wanted to make Lily fight with Cham so that she could clear her from the way. On the other hand, we see Dong. These days he was infested with lice, and Uncle Joe was also behind this. Today he comes home very happy because he came to know that his wife has come to his home. He had also bought a new ring for her, but when he goes inside, she starts talking in a hurry and talks in such a way that he gets very angry, and also at her stepmom. Both of them raise their hands on her and beat her, and this is what she wanted. Actually, she had captured all this in the video. Now she says, "Divorce me right now, or I will viral this video and make a case on you both." Now he had no other option, so finally he has to give divorce to Lily. In the next day, Park comes to drop her off at the office. Here, Knight was standing in front of her. As soon as she sees him, she hugs Park and starts acting like a lovely girlfriend, as if they both are in a relationship. Park also understands this thing and takes full advantage of the opportunity. Now she goes into the elevator. She was very happy that she did not come face to face with Knight, but Knight also enters the same elevator. Here he starts teasing her, saying, "You are also a professional scammer, and Park is also a very good actor, but still your acting doesn't seem real." He also says, "If you don't have any feelings for me, then it shouldn't matter to you if I come close to you." But as soon as he comes close to her, her heartbeats increase, and she starts feeling nervous and runs away from there. After that, Knight starts insisting that Cham work with him in his office. She meets him once, but she says that all this is not appropriate and it will spoil the company's image. But actually, Knight had many other designers with him. All these people will work as a team. This way no one will have any issue. On the other side, we come to know that the stepmom had also kept a spy in the office, and she gives this information to the stepmom. Stepmom says to keep an eye on them. If any such movement comes that they both come close to each other, then you have to bring the proof and give it to me. Next we see Lily. There's a new tension that has come into her life. She had taken a divorce from Dong, but she was pregnant, and now she did not want to keep this relationship with him at all and never wanted the father of her child to be Dong. The Knight was not accepting her because of the threats that started coming into her life. In such a situation, she gets a devilish idea. She keeps the ring that was to be given to a customer with herself and then goes to the toilet on some pretext and meets with Cham. Then there itself, she puts the ring in Cham's bag without her knowing. Later, she says to Cham that please bring my handbag from my room. In this way, she is seen going to his office in the CCTV footage. Later, Lily comes to Knight and says that her diamond ring is missing, which was very expensive, and it is seen in CCTV that there was no one else who went into her office, but only Cham. Now at this time, Uncle Joe and many other senior officials come there. They all are talking worriedly. Here Cham understands a little, but as soon as she opens her bag, she finds out something. Just then Lily reaches there and takes out the ring from her bag and says that she has stolen it. She has a criminal record earlier also, but when she is falsely accused of theft first, Cham gets scared, but after that she becomes confident and says that I am being framed, I did not steal it. Here Knight also takes her side and says that if she had stolen it, then she is so professional that she would have taken it out from here long ago instead of carrying it in her bag. Then Cham and Knight both start demanding that the police should be called right now and investigate this and find out whether Cham's fingerprints are on this ring or not. She also offers to take Lily for a detective test. Now after hearing all this, Lily gets scared, and Uncle Joe also understands that Lily's plans have gone wrong. Now Uncle Joe handles this issue and says that look, the thing that was lost has been found, so don't call the police, otherwise the media will come and it will become an issue again. After that, going outside, the senior shareholder gets very angry with Uncle Joe and says that Knight is so crazy about that girl. He says, how will he manage this company? After that, Cham goes to Lily and tells her that you have underestimated me. She says, the people who are good to me, I become even better than them, and those who are rude to me, I become even more rude than them. And then they see that some people have come there. Then immediately Cham starts acting as if Lily is trying to strangle her. She injures herself and puts all the blame on Lily. She acted in such a way and created such a situation that even Lily gets surprised. Seeing her, it was clear that handling this corn girl is not that easy. After that, Lily was so angry at everything that she was about to pull her hair. On the other hand, Uncle Joe had also decided that he will remove Cham from Knight's life. He was not going to wait for the project to get completed. He called Cham and threatened her to remove her from Knight's life. He says that, I am giving you 3 days' time, but Cham also refused. Now here Uncle Joe brings out his same form in which he was being very scary. He was threatening her and even said that if Knight tries to come between me, then I will crush him too. Here he shouted so loudly once that immediately Cham ran out of fear and she got so scared. Here Knight was sitting in his office and he also sees Cham in such a state. But when he asks her about this, she doesn't tell him anything. He asks her a lot, but she couldn't answer. So he follows her and goes to the lift after her, and just then the elevator breaks down. Here it was completely dark and the atmosphere was very congested. Whenever such a situation was created, she used to have breathing issues, and the same thing happens today also. Knight takes care of her and tries to make her feel better. Now finally her health had become better, but Knight had come so close to her that he doesn't resist and he kisses her. At this time, the lift door is opened and all the people see all this. There was a girl here whose name was Siri. She actually used to work for stepmom. She also takes photos and makes videos of them, but Knight doesn't care about anyone. He carries Cham in his arms and takes her to his room. On the other hand, Uncle Joe's assistant is following that girl. He goes and drops Siri's phone on the ground, and after that he hides that phone. Now the photos and videos also disappear along with the phone. Now Uncle Joe comes to Knight and gets angry at him and says that you are ruining the company's image. What did you do today? But Knight starts saying that I don't understand, why does it matter to my company whether I love someone or kiss someone? He says this is my life and I will spend it according to my wish. Now Uncle Joe leaves quietly. After that, his assistant tells him that Siri works for stepmom. So Uncle Joe says that when will your good luck be used, and says that you bring this girl on our side so that she will follow our instructions. Then that assistant goes to Siri and tries his best to impress her and win her heart. On the other hand, we see Dong. These days he is involved in gambling. At first he wins, but when he starts losing he has to take a loan. Whereas on the other hand, Knight had won Cham's heart again through the way he used to accept her in front of everyone and used to give her so much respect. Knight was ready to love her by fighting the world, and this thing wins Cham's heart. But she tells him that, please understand the situation. Right now the situation is not on our side. When it comes, I will tell you the whole truth. After that, she goes down after taking leave. Mr. Park had come to pick her up, but he had gone up at that time. Here Cham hears Uncle Joe's assistant talking about how to trap Dong in a loan and then buy his shares. Along with that, she got a message from the assistant that after this they will also finish off Knight. Now after this, Mr. Park comes to her and tells her that, I have heard everything. People in the office were asking about you and Knight's kiss. Parks asks her, do you have feelings for him? Now she does not lie here and tells him the truth. After that, we see Knight, and today he was very angry. He goes in front of Uncle Joe and says that, I have come to know that you forced Cham to leave my life so that our company's image does not get spoiled and I become the president. Lily was also standing there. She takes Uncle Joe's side, but Knight did not care for anyone. After that, we see Cham and Park going through the car. Cham used to share everything with him just like a good friend. She tells him that, now I have come to know that Knight's uncle is also not good for him. Even if I get hurt myself, I have to help Knight because his accident happened because of me. She was ready to give her life for him. Now she starts his investigation about Uncle Joe as Cham is a professional con girl. She finds out Uncle Joe's background and she tries to know every detail in his background because if there is an enemy, then first of all, we have to find his weak point. So this has always been her rule in the world of scamming. After that, we see that he was talking about the next planning between the assistant and Uncle Joe. Here the assistant asks Uncle Joe that, "Why do you care so much about Knight? It seems as if he is your own son." On which Uncle Joe gets very angry and he throws him out of there. After that, he goes into his old memories. It is shown in the flashback that once Knight's mom and dad were fighting a lot and Uncle Joe reaches there and Knight's father gets very angry. He was cursing Knight's mom that you are a very low lady, and along with this he also says to Uncle Joe that both of you are very bad people and I want to kill you both. He even tells Mom that if you cannot live without me then you should die. In response to this, Mom committed suicide. Then we are brought to the present. Today Van had come to Park's house, which was actually sent by Knight to pick up Cham. Today Park refuses, but Cham agrees and says that I will go through this van. But Park was not liking it at all, but he felt that no matter what happens, he will fight for his love till the last. Then the car brought her to Knight's house instead of the office because this was the order of the night. Now Cham goes inside quietly. The Knight says that these things should not be discussed in the office, and he tells her that I have come to know through my informer that you took money from Uncle Joe for the treatment of your friend and you are not a liar. You love me truly, and along with this you also is lying so professionally, and have you also admitted in front of me that you both pretend to be a couple in front of me. Now she is surprised to hear all this. After that, Knight reminds her of one night they spent in the forest. There once Cham had said that if I do not find any job then I will come to your office and will you make me your secretary or assistant? Then the Knight says to her that forget everything and just remember that I offer you to be my assistant today. In the meantime, she receives a call from Park. He was actually standing outside Knight's house because he had followed her. He asks Cham, but Cham was talking very normally. She just says that today I am not in the office, but I have come out for work. She had not told him that she is at Knight's house. Hearing this, Park becomes very sad as one-sided love always makes a person sad. On the other hand, at the office, Uncle Joe also got suspicious that today neither Knight came to the office nor Cham. So he calls at home to the housekeeping and she gives the phone to Cham. Uncle Joe starts to warn Cham, but before he can say anything, she starts to worry that a person whose own past is not clear should not threaten me. She says that you have many weak points and evidence in your hands which I will bring in front of everyone. After that, Uncle Joe gets very angry and the assistant also remembers that maybe yesterday she had heard some of my words. Uncle Joe says that if she had heard anything then she should not be alive. On the other hand, Knight also shows photos of his entire family to Cham at his house. Here during the conversation, Cham asks Knight, Uncle Joe looks like your uncle, but his surname is different. Then he tells that we do not have a blood relation. Rather, his father used to work with my Uncle Joe, and since then, he is just like our family. He also shows a very old photo. Actually, Knight's mother and Uncle Joe used to study in the same college, and Uncle Joe had introduced Knight's mother and father to each other. Here while talking, once Knight's watch gets stuck into Cham's wrist bracelet, and it was exactly like his handcuffs. Seeing this, Knight gets an idea. Then he was making some couples-type jewelry items for his next design, and Cham suggests him that a circle should be made in a heart shape. Then we see Dong, who is going out for gambling again. Just then some people come and kidnap him. Actually, it was the same loan shark. Now he was asking for his money back. Dong did not want to tell anything to his mother, so he gets scared and transfers some of his shares to him. Actually, Uncle Joe was doing this so that he could get as many shares as possible from Dong. After the work is over, Knight comes to drop Cham home and also tells her that he will not let her stay in the house of Park for long. I will move you out of here, he says. Now after coming home, Cham shows the same photo to Park and says that something is wrong between Uncle Joe and Knight's mother. He had secretly saved their photos in his mobile phone, she says. What is the secret I should find? After dropping her, Knight returns to his home, and here Lily had come to meet Knight. She says that she needs his signature on some documents and that he did not come to the office today. After work, she is very sweet to him. She talks to him and says, I see that you are very happy with Cham these days. She asks, have you fallen in love with her again? She says, I am very happy for you, and then she says, let's drink. Then she has mixed something in the drink that will disturb the hormones, and after that it will be very easy for her to seduce Knight. Now after drinking that drink, poor Knight's condition becomes very bad. He was remembering his love Cham again and again. He started remembering all the sweet moments they had spent together. Meanwhile, Cham also reaches behind him and presents herself in front of him and tries to seduce him. But Knight prefers love. He goes out and scolds Lily, telling her, "Why do you show your face to me? There is no need to come to my house again." Lily feels insulted by this. Then she changes her clothes and goes out from there. But in the meantime, she hears that Knight has asked for coffee from her housekeeper. She also had another medicine in it which had a sleeping pulse. So she mixed it in the coffee when the housekeeper was outside. Now she goes outside the house and waits for him to sleep. Meanwhile, Knight drinks that coffee and feels very sleepy, and he goes to sleep. Meanwhile, she goes inside and says to the housekeeper, "There is a power issue in my house, so I will spend tonight here in the guest room." Then the scene changes, and we see the scene of mourning. Knight is in a bad condition, and he sees Lily with him on the same bed. Seeing her, Knight is shocked. She asks him in a shocked state, "Don't you remember what happened between us last night?" Now she is gone, and after that, Knight is sitting in a shocked state thinking about all this. But he sees that some coffee is left. He gets suspicious and sends this coffee for testing. On the other hand, Cham sees that early in the morning a guest has come to Park's house and Knight is also with him. He tells her that today she is going to present her first design, so she has to look very confident and extremely beautiful. Now when they are preparing the stylish dress, Park comes and sits near Knight and says, "I have told you this much, that there is a lot of enmity between Uncle Joe and Cham. I just want to tell you that if you can protest Cham, then tell me, and if you can't, then I will protest to her." They're talking about that. Just then Cham comes in front of them after getting ready. Here she was looking so beautiful that both the boys stand up and forget what they were talking about. Poor Park just keeps looking at her. While the Knight takes her out with him and tells her what happened last night, Lily had come to his house and tried to trap him in a trick. He tells her that, "I have told the truth, and I can also swear that since you have come into my life, I have not even touched any other girl. I don't care what others think about me, but I want you not to get into Lily's talks." Cham is very happy to hear all this, and anyway, Lily was not bothering her at all. Knight speaking the truth in this way was liked by Cham, that he cares so much for her. She tells him that it's okay, we both are already together, but we will keep our relationship unofficial and will never make it public. After that, it is seen in the office that Uncle Joe had noticed that Lily often used to do vomit in the morning. So he got suspicious and asked her if she was pregnant, but Lily does not say anything. After that, she sees Cham and she goes to her and wants to talk a lot to her about everything that happened between Knight and Lily last night. But Cham starts laughing and says, "By doing all this, you will only embarrass yourself." And she says, "I know that Knight doesn't even look at any other girl." Well, after that, a meeting is ready in which Cham had to present her first design. While going to the meeting, the sharp eyes of our scammer girl noticed one thing. What is the password of Dong's phone? Well, after that, she presented her idea. It takes a lot of time from some people, but she was confident and she answered so well, and she had also studied about the investors very well. So all of them approved this design. Now after that, she goes to another place, and while passing by Dong, she steals his phone so cleanly that he doesn't even come to know. She knew his password, and she is checking his call history to know which loan shark he was talking to. And at this moment, someone comes and stands behind her, and it is none other than our hero Knight. He starts asking Cham to tell him the truth. Whose phone did you steal and why? Meanwhile, Dong is also coming, so she goes to him and very cleanly puts his mobile phone in his pocket. He doesn't even come to know. Now after that, she goes and tells Knight that actually he has sold his 5% shares to someone, and I have taken the number of the person to whom he has sold. She says, "Right now I am investigating, so you don't ask me any questions." What is the reason? When I come to know, I will tell you myself. After that, when Knight also checks the updated shares of his company, he comes to know that actually 5% shares are missing from here. On the other hand, Park helps Cham, and he comes to know that the German man from whom Dong has taken a loan is actually a gangster, and this man is doing this for Uncle Joe. Here Park tells Cham that these are gangster-type people, so you please stay away from these people. After that, Knight reaches Dong's house with documents filled and in anger and tells stepmom that Dong has sold his 5% shares. Now stepmom gets very angry. She starts beating Dong, and here Dong also gets emotional, saying, "I love Lily very much." He says, "Today you bring Lily back to me and I will leave everything and will become a very hardworking son." But stepmom gets very angry and was crying after going up and was thinking, what deficiency has happened in my health that my son is not like Knight? On the other hand, Knight had first told Lily not to come to his house, but now he himself calls her to his house. The reason for that was that actually he came to know that she is pregnant. Lily comes again to his house and again starts seducing him, but then Knight says, "I know you are pregnant, so it is better that you go back to Dong." He says, "Dong loves you very much, and as far as you are thinking that there will be a place for you in my life, then it is impossible." He says, "My life will be complete after Cham." Here Lily gets very angry and she starts abusing him. Then Knight cannot tolerate it and he says, "Cham may be a thief, but she never cheats on her boyfriend. She is not a fallen girl like you." After that, Lily comes to Uncle Joe in anger. She asks him, "Did you tell this to Knight that I am pregnant?" But Uncle Joe says, "Just like I came to know, Knight must have also come to know." On the other hand, stepmom goes to the same German man. The gangster immediately calls and informs this to Uncle Joe. Here Lily secretly listens to their conversation and she comes and wants to talk to Uncle Joe, saying, "I have come to know your big secret." She says, "Do you want to take the paradise jewelry from Knight's hand?" She starts threatening him, saying, "If I tell Knight, then the relation of both of you will be ruined." But Uncle Joe makes her an offer and says, "You will join my team." He says, "Right now you only work there, but if you work with me, then I will also give you 10% shares." Now this offer seems very good to Lily, so she also agrees. After that, first of all, they had to take Cham away from the way. And for that, it was necessary to send her to jail. After that, he goes to meet Penny, who is Cham's ex-boyfriend. She offers him a lot of money and says, "I will give you something and you have to somehow deliver it in the bag of Cham, and after that I will send her to jail." But now he was a good person and he was a spy himself. He had recorded all these talks in his mobile phone. He immediately goes to meet Cham and makes her listen to the same recording. Cham is surprised and she asks him, "Why have you decided to take her side?" Penny says that he is already very ashamed of his actions and he wants to change his life. He says, "I made her a thief and a scammer girl, but now I want to change, but I can't change because I need money very much." Then he takes her to the hospital and shows her his daughter, who was very ill and had to undergo heart surgery repeatedly. Here Cham says, "According to my capacity, I will help you completely because in childhood, when I had no one else, you were the only one who helped me." And she teaches him that you should also try to become a good person. Mr. Park was also with her. When they come out, he says, "As beautiful as you look from outside, your heart is even more beautiful than that, and I am proud that I love you." Hearing this, Cham gets very embarrassed because it was one-sided love and she did not have any feelings for Park. On the other hand, Lily goes to Knight today and gives him her resignation, saying, "You will regret one day because I will come here again with more power." Cham also comes to the office and takes Lily aside, making her listen to the same audio, saying, "You wanted to send me to jail. Penny has told me everything." Now the planning of Lily has failed again, so she gets very angry. She starts scolding Cham and a fight starts between them. At that time, Knight was in a meeting. So here a girl informs him about the fight, and there the shareholder gets a great impression. He somehow manages to handle their catfight, but the investors say, "Wherever the scammer goes, there will be fights." Now when Knight later comes to know what Lily has done, he gets very angry. But with great difficulty, Cham calms him down so that he does not create a scene in the office. While on the other hand, Uncle Joe was thinking that this Lily is no use. She is not doing even a single thing properly. But he does not say anything in front of her, and he tells her, "I have a plan for Cham. You bring her to the stairs, and after that my assistant will handle everything." After that, Lily goes to Cham and tells her that, "I know Uncle Joe wants to take over this company. If you want to help Knight, then come with me." On the other hand, Uncle Joe had also planned to kill both the girls at once. In the greed of telling Uncle Joe's secret, Lily calls her to the fire exit stair point. Now she herself goes there and is waiting for her when she sees Ruth there. Ruth's style had changed a lot. Root was the same assistant who works for Uncle Joe. On the other hand, Uncle Joe takes Cham with him on some pretext and keeps her with him. He did not want her to reach near Lily at this time. Actually, this was Uncle Joe's plan. He had given this task to Root to go there and kill Lily. He thinks that he will put the blame of Lily's murder on Cham and send her to jail. Meanwhile, Lily makes a mistake and she starts making a video of the incident from her phone. But Root came to know about all this. When he catches her and before killing her, he deletes the video from her phone. Then he pushes her from the stairs, after which he kills her badly. Now when Cham reaches there, Lily's body was lying there. She was wrapped in blood. In the meantime, Sari also reaches from above, and her only task was to prove that Cham was murdered in every way. She stains her hands with blood, and this was Uncle Joe's plan. Uncle Joe also called the police there. Now the police reach there and Knight also. Everyone was surprised to see this. When the police interrogate, she tries to prove herself innocent, saying, "I was with Uncle Joe at that time." But Uncle Joe becomes a complete stranger and says, "I don't remember what you are talking about." Here Sari also says Cham must kill Lily because they both used to fight many times. Here Cham understands that Uncle Joe had told her, "I will send you to jail in 3 days." Now that poor girl was badly trapped. She did not have any evidence to prove herself innocent. But here Knight comes to her and says, "Whatever is visible, I can understand that it is not like that at all. I have full faith in you. I have not spent much time with you, but I know that you will never do this." Now Cham was very upset. In such a situation, she calls Panny. He was very smart, and he was a master in understanding such crime situations. He gives her this advice: "You should remember, well, something will be abnormal there. Whatever you must have seen on reaching there." Now she remembers once that when she reaches there, she sees that Lily was holding her phone tightly in her hand. It seemed as if she wanted to save something in it. Then Panny says, "Surely there will be evidence in this phone to prove you innocent." Their Dong was very depressed. Of course, Lily was not sincere with Dong. She did not love him. But he always loved her truly, and when he saw Cham coming out of there, he attacked her after seeing the murder of Lily. He was so angry that he wanted to kill her. On the other hand, we see that this girl is doing all this because Root was blackmailing her by showing her a video, but Sari is feeling very guilty while doing this and was very scared, and anyway, she did not know that along with Root being a blackmailer, there would be a murder as well. Now when Knight was going to the police station, on the way he sees Sari and Root together, and he gets very suspicious about their connection. Once Cham hugged Knight and told him that there is something in Lily's phone that can prove that Cham is innocent. Now Knight understands that he has to get Lily's phone. Then he met with Cham at the police station and said that the police people are probably in collusion with Uncle Joe, which is why they are not even giving me the phone. On the other hand, when poor Dong comes to know that at that moment Lily was pregnant, he gets even more angry. Now he has to take the revenge of his sons too. Now Knight is in his house when he suddenly remembers that Lily had told him the address and password of her drive. They had shared all these details when they were boyfriends and girlfriends, and at that time they often needed each other's passwords in connection with business. Then Knight enters the password of her drive, and there he finds that file in the backup, the same video that clearly shows that it was not Root who murdered Lily. In the meantime, Uncle Joe also comes to console him about Cham, but Knight was standing like a fool scared of Uncle Joe. He was feeling as if he was looking at a stranger. Actually, he never knew this side of Uncle Joe, that he could also commit a murder. He was very scared that he had trusted this Uncle Joe all his life and kept doing everything on his instructions. On the other side, Park's reach was very far. He had hired a big lawyer, and now he is getting Cham's bail because there was no clear evidence of Cham's involvement in this murder. Now, as soon as Cham reaches home, Knight also comes forward and shows her the same video and says that it is not you, but Uncle Joe who is doing everything in anger. She says that Uncle Joe is very dangerous. Not only this, but I also know that he is buying shares and wants to take this company in his hands. Cham says he is your enemy too. Now they make a plan, and in that plan, they also involve Penny. Once while going to the mall, Penny collides with Sari and puts a recorder in her bag through which they can listen to her and Uncle Joe's conversation. Now they are monitoring this. In the meantime, Cham tells Knight that she wants to go to Dong and tell him that she is not the murderer. Dong must be thinking that she is the murderer. On the other hand, Dong also saw from the window that Cham came to his home and he will immediately take out his gun and is just about to kill Cham. Just then, Knight catches him and Knight and stepmom manage him with great difficulty. Knight shows them the video which shows that Lily's murderer is none other than Root and Cham is innocent. Actually, stepmom and Knight were always having a lot of confusions in their hearts. They never used to clear their confusions and misunderstandings. Here Cham gets a chance when they talk to stepmom, and stepmom also starts talking openly with Knight. Seeing each other for the first time face to face, they take out their anger on each other and many things get cleared. Many misunderstandings and confusions that Uncle Joe had created between them get removed. In the meantime, Penny gets a clue through the recorder where Root was saying that Uncle Joe was buying shares from many shareholders and Uncle Joe can soon become the chairperson. Now Cham also gets that voice recording and she makes everyone listen to it. Now the real face of Uncle Joe comes in front of everyone. Here stepmom and Knight decide that they both will join hands because Uncle Joe's hand was in separating them, and if they both combine with their power, then Uncle Joe can easily be defeated. Then they make a plan to trap Uncle Joe. After that, Dong goes to a foreign gangster and gives some more of his shares to this gangster. Now Uncle Joe is very happy. He thinks that he will have the most shares in the counting because stepmom and Knight can never be together. But Uncle Joe doesn't know that whenever Sari came to him, whenever they talk about their plans in front of Sari, they actually leak all his planning to Cham. Now the next day, an urgent board meeting is called. Here Uncle Joe thinks that he has the most shares and he can easily become the chairperson. But Knight says that this is not possible. In the meantime, stepmom also comes and says, I will vote for Knight for all my shares. I will give it to him and he will become the chairperson. Now all this was very surprising for Uncle Joe. It was the first time that he saw that stepmom and Knight have become one. Now, after all this, he has to face a lot of embarrassment, and he goes and gets out his anger on Root. Here we come to know that once Uncle Joe had helped Root in taking revenge when his grandfather was murdered, and from that day till now, Root always considered Uncle Joe as his godfather. Today, he says that even if he has to lose his life, he is ready to take revenge for him. On the other hand, we see that things are fine between Knight and stepmom, and they are planning for the future of the company. On the other hand, Dong had only wanted to take revenge from Root. Once he sees Root and he starts following him. When Root was going out of the way, just then Dong comes and attacks him with a knife. He beats him badly and says, I have seen the video in which you are committing the murder of Lily. Now the company's issues have been resolved so soon Uncle Joe will be caught because Knight is going to show this video to the police. Now after doing this, Dong runs away. Just then Knight and Uncle Joe reach there. There was a fear of an ambulance coming, so Uncle Joe takes Root to the hospital in his car itself. But Root didn't want to go to the hospital. Rather, he says to Uncle Joe to stop the car and says, I will never let you get harmed. Then when Uncle Joe starts picking up something from the car, just then Root hits him with a stick and makes him unconscious. After that, he apologizes to Uncle Joe saying, I will have to do something to save you. After that, a video is released in which Root admits that he murdered Lily, and the reason he gives for this is that he wanted to date her, but she was refusing. So he has become madly in love with her and has murdered her. Now he has made this thing so personal. He had assumed that there was no proof against Uncle Joe. After that, when Uncle Joe regains consciousness, he also comes to know about all this, and he is very upset. He actually loved Root a lot because they both were together for years, and he was very loyal to him. He even sacrificed his life before leaving, but did not let Uncle Joe come to any harm. Uncle Joe was sitting very sadly and thought that now he will have to reveal the reality because the time has come. The next day, he comes to meet Knight at his house. He also has some photos of Knight's childhood. Now he starts telling Knight about many years old things. He says that actually your mother and I loved each other a lot, but Knight's father had his eyes on her and he wanted her to marry him. Uncle Joe also broke up with his girlfriend thinking that maybe she would marry the president of such a big company. But after marriage with Knight's dad, she completely forgot Uncle Joe. She was very royal with her husband and was ready to do anything for him. She had made a very big investment in his company with her inheritance. She was also worried about the sinking of the company. But after taking the money her husband used to treat her very badly, he often used to stay outside. He neither came to meet her nor was he giving her any respect. She had just become a maid in the house and had no rights. Once Knight's mom was drunk and Uncle Joe too. Both of them made a mistake after which she became pregnant. Uncle Joe was very careful that this truth should never be told to the chairman because in this way Uncle Joe's son would become the chairman of this company. Anyway, all the investments in this company were from mom's inheritance money. Now he tells that I am not your uncle. I am your real father, and if you want you can do a DNA test. After hearing all this, Knight is shocked. Today, he will come to know his life's biggest truth. Uncle Joe says that I am not doing this to make myself the president, but for my son. I can never think about harming you. But Knight doesn't even make eye contact with him, and he goes away from there. Now Knight is in a very bad situation. The person whom he considered his real father all his life was not his real father at all. This thing breaks his heart badly, and he sits and just keeps looking at his childhood photos with Uncle Joe, thinking that fate has played such a big game with him. After that, he calls Cham and tells her everything. She wants to come to him, but Knight says, "Please, I want to be completely alone. I don't want to meet anyone." The poor girl is very worried about him, but her sixth sense is telling her that Uncle Joe is lying somewhere. She tells the same thing to Park and asks him, "Do you think that all this will be true, that his real dad is Uncle Joe?" Now she is observing this thing and she feels that something is missing. She is observing the photos and then she notices one thing in the college photo. A lady is standing with Uncle Joe and she and Uncle Joe are wearing love bracelets. It's clear from this that they were a couple at that time and were dating. Now Cham somehow finds out about that lady and goes to meet her. She tries to ask her in gestures what kind of relationship Knight's mom and Uncle Joe had, and Cham says, "I feel that Knight is the son of Uncle Joe." Hearing this, the lady gets shocked and tells her this is not possible. The lady says, "Yes, we both used to date, but we broke up early. Let me tell you that Uncle Joe can never become a dad. You can get confirmation of this from another girl who was a foreigner. She and Uncle Joe were going to get married." Now when Cham goes to this lady, the lady tells her, "We both were going to get married, but at this time I got Uncle Joe's test reports which showed that he can never become a father. That's why I canceled my marriage with him." Now Cham is very happy and understands that Uncle Joe lied. She happily reaches Knight's house to show him the same reports. In the meantime, Uncle Joe comes from outside, who is surprised to see Cham there. He snatches the papers from her hand and starts reading them. Now he has gone mad with anger. He starts threatening Cham and says, "No one can come between me and Knight, and no one can stop me from taking over this company." Now he also admits here that Knight is not his son and neither can he be. He also admits that he is the one who murdered Knight's real father. In the meantime, Knight also reaches there. Actually, this was Cham's plan. She had earlier shown and told everything to Knight, but he sees Uncle Joe admitting everything with his own eyes and ears. This is what Cham wanted. Now Uncle Joe gets completely shocked. Knight hits him and beats him, and he falls at his feet. It seems that some psycho type of Uncle Joe was going on, and here he cries in front of Knight. Taking advantage of this, he hits Knight on the head and makes him unconscious. Now he has tied up Knight, and Cham runs from there and hides somewhere. Now Uncle Joe is after her. There is a lot of hide-and-seek gameplay between them, and all of them are running around. On the other hand, Knight is lying unconscious, tied up in one place. Now an idea comes to Cham's mind. She writes something on the floor with her favorite condensed milk and gives some hint. Just then, Uncle Joe comes there, makes her unconscious, kidnaps her, puts her in his car, and leaves from there. While running and hiding, she calls Park many times, but his shooting was going on, so when he comes back, he gets very upset by seeing Cham's message. He calls her, but she doesn't answer. So he immediately goes to Knight's house. Their things are scattered and Knight is not visible. Now finally they find Knight and free him. After that they start searching for Cham. Then at one place they find a number. After a lot of thinking they realize that this must be her tracking number. Actually, a tracker was installed in Cham's phone, and to find out where all these links are connected they have to contact Penny because he knew Cham very well in this matter. Penny tells them that through this number, they can do live tracking of where Cham is going. Now the live location of Cham has reached both of them. Knight wants to go alone, but Park also sits in the car with him. On the other hand, Uncle Joe takes Cham to a deserted place. He says, "I will kill you and bury you here and no one will even find your dead body." He is very angry because his whole life was ruined because of Cham. Here one thing that Cham notices is that Uncle Joe doesn't seem normal. He is a psychopath. After this, she starts talking to him and says things that keep him distracted. She actually wants to take some time so that she can get her tied hands released. While doing this, she gets her hands released and attacks Uncle Joe. On the other hand, both the boys are also coming close to her by tracking her location. Meanwhile, Cham saves her life many times by doing many tricks. Once she catches the gun, but she's so kind-hearted that she can't use a gun on Uncle Joe. Taking advantage of this, Uncle Joe overpowers her, and now he's going to kill her by suffocating her. At that time, both heroes reach there and beat Uncle Joe. Knight also beats him a lot. Now the same form of Uncle Joe comes out. He falls at Knight's feet again. But this time Knight doesn't have any influence on him. He kicks him very hard and makes him unconscious. Now the main couple is completely safe. Meanwhile, the police come there and arrest Uncle Joe. The next task of Knight is to wash off the claims made on Cham. He sends media to her village, and all the people praise her for how she and Knight have saved everyone from loan sharks. She's also kind-hearted, helping her friend with treatment. All this proves that Cham has completely changed her life and is now a very kind person. To show Cham's success, Knight also calls all the villagers to his company. Here Cham is most happy that her friend is engaged and will marry her friend soon. On the other hand, poor Dong is seen lying in love with Lily since forever. He used to remember her till now and go to her grave. But she was not sincere with anyone, and for this she was already punished. And now Dong has to take the punishment because he had murdered Root. Now he did surrender in front of the police and was going to jail to serve his sentence. On the other hand, Uncle Joe is now presented in front of the judge, and in the court he gets punishment for all his crimes. Here Knight was also watching all this, but there was no happiness on his face because there was no satisfaction. He says, "I thought that Uncle Joe would be a little guilty, but looking at his face it seems that he does not regret any of his crime." Then, after all this, finally the day comes when Cham is moving out of Park's house. Park is also going abroad to live with his parents. Park had always been a very good friend of Cham who had helped her all the time. While leaving from here, she also hugs him, and seeing this, our sincere Knight gets jealous. Then Cham goes with Knight, and here our supportive hero Park, who is very good and very sweet, goes alone. Now after that we see that she is helping Knight in presenting Paradise jewelry, and they go to France for their new project. There they get a very big investor, and when she returns to the company with such a big project, everyone is happy for her and a party is also prepared for her. After this, Knight takes her to a house that he had made for Cham only. A traditional house like the ones in the village was her dream house. Seeing this, Cham gets very happy. After that, they go to meet Cham's friend who was pregnant these days and was going to deliver today. Everyone there also teases Knight and Cham, so Knight says, "We both will give you the news very soon, and to give this good news, we are working hard day and night." After this, the last scene of the drama comes in which Cham is standing and looking at the moon. Actually, the meaning of Cham's name is also the same as moon. Moon and Knight can never be separated. She says to Knight, "Thank you for coming into my life and taking me out of the world of crime, giving me a good and better life. I have changed because of you, and for this I am thankful to you." Here Knight kisses her on the head and says, "You are the lucky person of my life." And with this, Knight proposes to her for marriage. And of course, she says yes, and both of them are very happy, and with a happy moment, the drama ends here. How would you like this drama, and which was your favorite character? Let us know in the comment, and don't forget to subscribe our channel for watching more dramas like this.